Is the iPhone 4S still relevant in 2025? Released in October 2011, the iPhone 4S was once Apple's pride, the first to feature Siri, a Retina display, and a dual-core A5 chip. It marked a leap forward in its time. But in 2025, more than a decade later, how does it actually hold up? Can it still serve any real purpose, or is it purely a collector's piece? Let's break it down realistically. The iPhone 4S runs up to iOS 9.3.6. That's its limit. It doesn't support iOS 10 or higher. This alone already makes it incompatible with almost every modern app. Most social media platforms, messaging apps, and even web browsers now require iOS 15 or newer. So unless you already have older versions installed, you'll quickly hit a wall. In terms of performance, the A5 chip and 512 megabytes of RAM were impressive in 2011, but are now painfully slow. Opening apps, browsing the web, or even switching screens can feel laggy. Safari struggles with modern sites that use newer encryption standards and JavaScript frameworks. Some pages won't even load correctly. Still, not everything about the 4S is useless. On Wi-Fi, you can browse light websites, play downloaded music, or use it as a simple media device. The 8MP camera, while dated, still takes decent photos in good lighting. It can shoot 1080p video grainy by today's standards, but still functional. For offline use, like listening to music or viewing photos, the phone can be surprisingly pleasant to handle. Its small 3.5-inch Retina screen still looks crisp, and the glass and steel design feels classic. However, one major limitation today is connectivity. The iPhone 4S only supports up to 3G. In countries where 3G networks have been shut down, including the US, Canada, and many parts of Europe, it can't make calls or use mobile data at all. Without LTE or VoLTE, the phone is basically offline, unless connected to Wi-Fi. In some regions where 3G still lingers, calls and SMS may still work, but it's increasingly rare. Another issue is battery life. After 12 years, most original batteries are worn out. Even with a replacement, standby time and performance are poor compared to modern devices. Apple officially considers the iPhone 4S obsolete, which means no service, no security patches, and no spare parts from Apple stores. So, what can it still do in 2025? It can serve as a backup phone for emergencies, provided your carrier still supports older networks. It can work as a dedicated music player, a retro camera, or even a Wi-Fi only mini device for note-taking or simple web browsing. Some hobbyists still use it for nostalgia or for tinkering projects. Now, what it can hardly do. Forget about using it for social media. No TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube app works properly. Most won't even open. GPS apps like Google Maps either crash or load painfully slow. Web-based apps often display errors due to outdated TLS protocols. And using it for banking or any sensitive task is a bad idea since it no longer receives security updates. In short, it's not practical as a daily driver. It can't compete with even the most affordable Android phones today, which are faster, more secure, and far more compatible. Let's summarize the pros and cons clearly. Pros. Classic, nostalgic design that still feels premium. Great build quality, glass and steel still hold up. Works for music, photos, and offline use. Small, pocket-friendly size with a bright display. A great collector's item, or backup device. Cons: no 4G or 5G support. Too old for most apps and games. Poor battery life and outdated hardware. No more software or security updates. Limited or no carrier support in many countries. If you're someone who enjoys retro tech, the iPhone 4S is an interesting piece of Apple history, a reminder of how far smartphones have come. But if you're thinking of using it as your main phone in 2025, that's not realistic anymore. It simply can't keep up with today's demands. According to discussions on Apple's own support forums and tech communities like Reddit, even tech enthusiasts admit that the 4S feels frozen in time. Many use it only for music, calls on old networks, or as a nostalgic display piece. Sites like How To Geek and Medium also highlight that while it's fun to revisit, the lack of modern connectivity makes it impractical for daily use. So, is the iPhone 4S still relevant in 2025? The honest answer is yes, but only in spirit. It's relevant as a memory, a piece of tech nostalgia that reminds us where Apple's innovation began. But as an everyday device, it's far beyond its service life. If you're still holding on to one, maybe keep it charged, play a few songs, snap a few photos, and remember how revolutionary it once was. But for daily life, it's time to move on. Thank you for listening to this review, and if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for future episodes. Until next time.